Charlotte Motor Speedway. We were here last week, we're here again, but it's going to be a completely different race. Welcome to the Concord Grand Prix, live on FTN. You're watching the IORA Cup Series, and tonight, after Jacob Wilkerson's fantastic victory at this circuit just a week ago, we're back in Charlotte for the Concord Grand Prix, presented at the Roval. The twists and turns, unlike any other circuit in the United States, are going to be the host for IORA tonight, and we're excited to see all of the racing in just a few minutes' time. But first, there's qualifying. 8 minutes remain on the board as we speak. Drivers getting their times in. It is single car qualifying we are back to for tonight, and it's going to be the final single car qualifying session of the season, tentatively speaking. Over 15 drivers have gotten through onto the qualifying circuit, and they're all going to have an opportunity to go for 2 laps in this 8-minute break between practice session and our main race. Right now, looking at Joshua Sutherland, one of the multiple rookies we have in tonight's event. Thomas Coonan also making his debut. You see drivers here who are, of course, familiar faces. Jim Thurston in a 96 all the way up to the wall. One of the favorites to win tonight, that number 96. Gotta watch out for him as the night goes on. Among others, you see Daniel Mosteller in the number 87. He's going to be running down the back straightaway here. Unlike what we saw down at the inside, there's the 87 Mosteller. He is not going to be in the Chevy Camaro for the rest of the season. He's now in the Supra. Looks like he's got commitment. Let's ride on board right now with Demos and see exactly what he's doing. Mosteller at the line, going to get through for his first lap. That's going to be provisional pole for Demos by about 0.3 of a second. Jim Thurston going to be in second with River Page now moving right up ahead of him. And Aiden Walker in the 93 has returned. Watch out for Walker. It looks like now he's going to be loaded up for a second lap. 21.598. Everyone going to be over a minute, so 1:21. That's the quick time so far for Aiden Walker. He's just a few tenths off of Demos, who's one position ahead. Alexander Balderas going to get on the board, and it's the 95 now working just out of the first sector and looping back onto the back straightaway. We mentioned it last week. These drivers have to be familiar with the oval portion of the track as much as they are with the infield road course, because when we come right out of the infield road course, you move back into turn 1. And most of the entire oval circuit is used alongside the road course. You might have not noticed that when we go through in these longer laps, but we go through the front stretch, then we cut in. We come back out to the entry of 1 and 2, run down the back straightaway, take the backstretch chicane, then the power is put down again into 3 and 4, which moves us back to the front straightaway, which you drive through instead of going all the way around. And that brings you to another lap. So Charlotte extended tonight from the inside as Alexander Balderas goes around for another lap. Mosteller coming across the line this time through. Thurston's going to be in second, but Demos extends his lead. It's a 1:20-1, 2:95, the fastest time. And now Jim Thurston right behind Aiden Walker. Walker second in the timing charts. River Page is up to 4th, and Aaron Schugel is up to 5th. Looking good now for Schugel as he chooses to fly right through the apron, and he is going to bounce back. Google comes back at us quickly here, and Will Shack is coming back through the track himself. 9th on the board for Will Shack as we speak, and you could see him hugging the curb there, down to the inside, and making it back into oval 1 and 2. Will Shack, a driver who's already found success this season with a victory at Daytona, looking for a little bit more, and as it stands, a top 10 qualifying run right behind the rookie in Joshua Sutherland, and it looks like Sean Rowe going to return tonight for what would be his first start of the season. Rowe with an 0.99 going to be back on the move. Looks like tonight with the number 19 paint scheme, he gets on the way and is now going to come out of pit road for his first lap. 4 minutes remaining. Jacques Carter looking for race number 2 on his campaign. Devins Baker right now going to be out of back straightaway chicane into 3 and 4. It's his second and final lap, and currently he finds himself in 15th. Matthew Brower just joined the session. It'll be his first race of the season as well, which brings us up to 20 now as we speak. And Baker going to overshoot that final corner, and we'll see whether or not this lap counts. It looks like it will. 129 though, so no gains for Baker. He will remain in 15th. Will Shack, as it stands, is going to be done with his qualifying run up to 10th, and Alexander Balder is going to be coming across the line. He's already locked into 12th at the highest as he comes through, and he's going to finish up his qualifying run just a few spots away from the top 10 and just a few tenths to add to that. Jacques Carter and Sean Rowe going to be separate as we speak. Rowe going to be on the way. Jacques Carter still down on pit road. Gavin Austin also taking a lap. Thomas Coonan, Vincent Guecci, Xander McKinney, Matthew Brower. Those are the drivers who have not gotten to the track, and Brower just got onto the pavement, so he'll be up next here as Guecci going to be on the way well at the line. Sean Rowe going for his first lap of the season as he comes down in, a little bit of sliding into one, nearly hitting the Tums Hartberg turn, but no damage, and he is on the way again. Rowe coming through. Demos firmly having that provisional pole position right now. Let's take a look at the top 3 overall in your qualifying session. They're at the high side of your screen, so you can see who's got the pace right now. Dominant drivers in practice are still the same in qualifying. Very, very close to one another in time. Walker and Mosteller are. All the while, Jim Thurston, he's a little bit further off, but he's still within 3 tenths. And on a road course, you can gain or lose 3 tenths in the blink of an eye. Gavin Austin now going to be on the way, and you can see the double 22 coming through. He's going to drift it and save it for the first time. Now he'll slide into the second turn of the infield road course. Still sliding as he comes right out, and it looks like Gavin Austin with a different strategy here in his qualifying session. Instead, smoking up the tires and putting on a show. How about Austin as he's going to hustle through the infield road course, and he is keeping it full throttle. Oh, Gavin Austin going to do it completely different. Take a look at that. He is stalled, and he's going to have to go down to pit road. So, his show will come to an end. We'll see if he gets a serious run in here, but time is, of course, everything in qualifying, and it looks like he's burnt just enough of it for there to be really no chance. Jacques Carter, the final driver, with a real opportunity here to get a lap in. It looks like for Matthew Brower, he is done. Same goes for Thomas Coonan and Vincent Guecci. Xander McKinney and Gavin Austin are both on the way, but they have not gotten to their first lap, so they don't have a chance to set one here in the session. Jacques Carter going to be the final man in the 969 Mobil 1 machine. Maybe he'll be the driver who sets up in front. Sean Rowe moved up into 8th, and it looks like he'll have a chance to finish his lap. Coming across the line, he is about 30-odd seconds away from reaching it, and he looks to be a few tenths off of where he was previously. We'll see if this final sector brings him back in. Going deep into the backstretch chicane, getting a nice run, putting the power back down. Now it's going to be about 3 tenths off his previous lap. Rowe coming across the line, could make some gains here in the final chicane. There's room for improvement at this final stretch, and Rowe's going to send it in, hit the curb once, hit it twice, and hit the wall for that matter. For Sean Rowe, it's a 1:23.99, not going to improve. Jacques Carter going to be good to come across the line for the final lap in the session. Take a look at 969 here. He's got to go for it and at the line. Carter, 1:24.435. That is good for 11th. Qualifying has concluded. Just like that, Jacques Carter gets a lap in, no stopping Daniel Mosteller, however, and as such, time to move on here and figure out who's at the top of the board in the Charlotte Roval. Welcome back to Charlotte. It's the Concord Grand Prix, and we're looking forward to some exciting racing with a count of 22 drivers. It looks like just a few more rolling onto the grid as we speak, and they're with us now. Xander McKinney going to be the tail end with Guecci, Aiden Walker with Daniel Mosteller. Let's go top to bottom here in qualifying. Daniel Mosteller with the pole position in that number 87. He's got it by just 72 thousandths ahead. Aiden Walker, who goes there in the runner-up spot. Third position is then going to be Jim Thurston, and it'll be River Page's number 24 in fourth, and around out the top 5, Marcus Vanderlei back for his second race of the season. Aaron Schugel and the number 91 crew are going to be rounding out row 3 in 6th. 7th place that is going to be going to Henry Kaloff, and then in there, you'll see Sean Rowe, the number 99. He is an 8th outside of row 4 to conclude the top 10. It'll be Corey Lyles and the rookie tonight in the number 4 of Joshua Sutherland. So Sutherland going to be 10th. That's going to give Jacques Carter position number 11, and it's going to be Will Shack in 12th, with 13th then being Cash Culp, and Alexander Balderas is number 95 there in 14th. To round out the top 15, you've got Brandon Dugan and Braxton Whitaker then in 16th, just behind. 17th place goes to Devins Baker with Matthew Brower in the number 73 there in 18th. Thomas Coonan, rookie tonight in the 068, is 19th, with Gavin Austin rounding out the top 20. It's Xander McKinney in 21st, and Vincent Guecci in 22nd. Your final driver on the starting grid, 11 rows and 22 drivers here in the Charlotte Roval. Row up top, and it looks like you'll see one driver going to be all the way up to the high side at the back of the field. It's going to be Vincent Guecci. As everyone gets going here, starting grid, getting organized. There is one driver down low. Of course, that's Rowe with Jacques Carter on the way. Looks like Daniel Osteller got things moving, and he is now set up to go for 35 laps here in Charlotte Motor Speedway. Charlotte, an iconic circuit, but the Roval has a little less stock car racing history than our oval counterparts, so let's get right into that. Since 2018, this configuration has been used in NASCAR National Series competition. However, it's decades older. If you're an iRacing fan, you might know that Charlotte has 2 scans on the platform, one from 2008 and one from just about 2018. The original configuration of the Charlotte Roval, not meant for stock cars. However, this layout has existed for several decades now. It is used in sports car competition, touring car competition locally, and you also see that we're coming past the Legends Road Course, which is used in smaller competition, such as Inex Legends, alongside the Legends Oval in the front straightaway. It's a lot of road course racing history that doesn't quite align with stock car racing, or it didn't until 2018. Starting with a barn burner event, Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson to the final turn and making contact. That would end up being Johnson's final real chance at a race victory. Truex just barely coming through, and that's what kickstarted the whole Roval movement and road course movement in NASCAR again. Since then, they've visited tracks such as Road America, eyeing Montreal once more. You're also seeing circuits come through Sonoma again, getting a race date after, of course, pandemic break, and alongside that, of course, Watkins Glen you have, not to mention more and more eyeing other circuits like the Circuit of the Americas for international competition into the NASCAR venue. So, Daniel Osteller up in front. He has his fair share of history in this league, doesn't have all too much at this track. However, when it comes to being a road course racer, Demos is silent but deadly. Perhaps not the guy you would expect to be at the top of the board, but he is quick, and if mistakes are made, he might be the driver to look out for. Aiden Walker, multiple season IORA veteran, championship contender in Season 3. He's back again in the first start of the campaign for the Lively's Custom Diecast 93. He's got a chance to break out tonight and show exactly what he's made of, as Daniel Osteller will lead the field to green. It's going to be Demos down low and Walker right up high, as the iRacing official pace car will leave the field be. Get us to work. It's going to be Demos coming through the front stretch chicane this time by, and he'll have the jump off of the curb. Let's hope the Tums heartburn turn doesn't lead to heartbreak, as we are green in the Concord Grand Prix. Welcome to the Roval. Demos has the lead. As the sun begins to set in Charlotte, it's Demos up in front. The 87 going to get the jump and find himself now as a new race leader here in Charlotte. The Roval going to give way to Daniel Mosteller, Jim Thurston, and River Page, your top three. A little bit of trouble for Alexander Balderas as we rode on board with him, and he's going to get shuffled in the tail end of the field here. As a result, he's down to 11th from that minor hiccup, but all is well for the 95 team otherwise. You look at Gletchy now fighting with the rookie of Thomas Coonan here. The 68 can remain right behind as Vinny gets through, and it looks like he won't have to worry all too much as one driver does have to worry. Take a look back. It looks like it's going to be Devins Baker coming up to an injured Will Shack having some front end contact. We'll see if it's detrimental, but so far definitely not looking as pretty as the 31 ends up with some contact. We'll see what he can do from here. Joshua Sutherland catching up to Cash Cope, and right now going to be a tricky night to follow everyone as we see trouble again. Vincent Guecci's going in reverse, and he's going to loop it around and get back going. Guecci going to find himself nearly making contact with the wall out of the infield road circuit. However, he's back on the way, and all is well. One driver in trouble again, that's Marcus Vanderlee. He is substantially slower now, might have a penalty. He has damage, and Joshua Sutherland coming right up on him. It's calamity. Xander McKinney's now going to be stalled. Oh, and it's going to be back and forth and back and forth. A chain reaction of incidents that aren't quite related to each other, but the troubles of the Roval are already coming alive, and 3 laps in, the focus is drivers are struggling so far tonight, and you see now Gavin Austin running with Henry Kaloff and also the number 56 of Corey Lyles there. They're tight, and Balderas is now going to try to send it deep, going down to the inside and looking low on Henry Kaloff. Nice move there. The 95 is sitting pretty if he can keep it there on the bottom side, and it looks like he'll have the move made. That's Balderas up 1, and Kaloff now looking to get by Corey Lyles as well. Corey not going to be, of course, a fan of that, but he'll be dropped back in 12. Now, starting to settle in once more. 3 laps in for your leaders as they're coming up to lap number 4. There's Will Shack. He's now going in 18th. Look for the back, and Brandon Dugan is going to be just behind him in the 19th spot. And Henry Kaloff now chasing Alexander Balderas as we are due to come down to the back straightaway chicane all over again. Mosteller with a nice jump out, and it looks like it's going to be a very, very packed up entry into the chicane. There's some contact with Sutherland, Austin, and it looks like now Alexander Balderas chasing. See Gavin Austin in between Vanderlee and Sutherland. Back end for Joshua. It's gone already, and they're coming to the front straightaway chicane with Joshua looking slightly lower, backing out of it and thinking better of it. At the line, Joshua Sutherland loose once more. Here comes Alexander Balderas. The 95 up high. Takes the spot convincingly. Not a problem as Gavin Austin's a loose once again. And it's become a little bit more the drifting for every driver rather than just Austin there in qualifying. Looks like he has set the tone, and the 22 now beginning to break away once again. 4 laps in, out of 35. All things considered, leader Daniel Mosteller having a good time up in front, and you can see him here working toward what's next. He's got himself now in a nice spot, 1.7 seconds ahead exactly, and Demos, of course, looking to the long term. It looks like a 35-lap race, which should not have any interruption to the green flag stint we're looking at here. So, with that being said, tire wear and degradation going to be a big deal, but also alongside that point, you got to look at the fuel mileage in 35 laps of racing. We are expecting to see a 50-50 split. If drivers are going to be more conservative tonight, not too confident in that marker, then you're also going to see potentially a 2-stop strategy at about lap 10 or 11, then at about lap 20, 21, 22. That will be the second set of laps coming into pit road. Braxton Whitaker racing with Matthew Brower. There's Brower. He's right up there in the Ream machine tonight. And it looks like now he's made his way up into 15th. Looking to get by Thomas Coonan. Can't quite get there so far. Now 5 laps in, out of 35. You can see Matthew Brower now in the heart of the pack. The closest battle right now involving Sutherland and like Vincent Guecci, going to be right there in the mix. Sean Rowe and Corey Lyles. There goes Rowe, the bottom side for the number 19. It is good, and he's going to take it up into 12th just like that. Right on board with Joshua Sutherland and see exactly what it's right to be in the middle of the battle. Sutherland now going to be in the back of a 4-car train as we ride on board down to the back straightaway chicane he goes, and still not making gains here on Corey Lyles, but staying very, very close in touch. Brandon Dugan right now, that number 55 Haggard Electrical Machine, finds himself in 17th and getting closer to Braxton Whitaker all the while. It looks like now that 51 having a little bit more trouble keeping the pace, but for Dugan, he dives a bit deeper into that final corner. That's going to set him back, and the rhythm is such a big deal here at the Charlotte Roval. We've got to discuss it as we get things going. As one driver is going to lose rhythm entirely, that is going to be the trouble, not for Will Shack as he comes in the mix. It's Thomas Coonan, and Thomas going to get back on the way with that number 68. He had a little bit of trouble there getting to the wall, but the left side damage will not deter him, and Thomas remains on the circuit here. Xander McKinney looks to be down a pit road, by the way. That's an unscheduled stop. Might be the end of Xander's night. The way things are looking, he's already in a load of trouble as the 68 goes up to the high side, and there goes Jacques Carter right down low. Quick move there for the 969. He's going to make the pass, and just like that, he's up into 17th. Brandon Dugan is going to be in 16th here as a result, and up in front, a few gains being made. It's a bundle of 6 into the backstretch chicane. Lyles side by side here with Kaloff. Rowe with Balderas. They all get out of it scot-free. How about that? With how close everyone is right now, it's been so tricky to find out whether or not these drivers are good to get away from these close moments. But everyone works out nicely in that specific instance, and Balderas gets the edge. Oh, Corey Lyles goes deep, and Corey Lyles is going to get contact. Marcus Vanderlee going to hit the 56, and Vanderlee is still going to be stalled. The motor is blown, and Vanderlee is diving down in an emergency pit stop to pit road. Oh my, for the number 056, Corey Lyles gets a piece, and multiple others do as well. Here's an instant look back at the matter at hand. And here's the super slow-mos. We're going to get things going. You see there, looks like Vanderlee has the edge over Alexander Balderas. Balderas cuts low. Contact, and that's how it all goes down. Vanderlee hooked off exit, and he gets shot up into the wall. Contact right into Lyles, getting Sutherland and nearly getting also in the mix Matthew Brower. Everyone else gets away, luckily, but for Marcus Vanderlee, it looks like tonight he's going to be part of someone else's doing, and that will give him now 55 seconds off the lead. He's back on lead lap using his fast repair, but all things considered, bad news as Alexander Balderas catches a piece of that number 056. Whitaker side by side with Jacques Carter, looking not to replicate the same fate. Whitaker ends up missing the corner and getting back on the way as Sean Rowe is decimated as well, looking to lose a lot of time. He's now down to 12th as Cash Culp is down to pit road as a result of some damage on the previous lap. It's been a night full of attrition already, and 8 laps in, another driver struggling drops down to pit road. There goes Cash Culp. He's now down and in, joining Joshua Sutherland here, and he'll lose an awful lot of time as a result. Looks like for Corey Lyles, despite the contact, he has not been deterred and has decided instead to go down to the inside on Balderas. Contact, and the 95 spins with Corey Lyles. Another incident, shades of Marcus Vanderlee. This time, it's not going to be Balderas. Oh my goodness, Jacques Carter comes through. The caution is out. 8 laps in, and we've got trouble adding to trouble. Balderas involved this time by. Here is a look back once more at the matter at hand. Can't believe it here. Let's take an instant replay on FTN and figure out what just happened. Balderas going to be involving himself with Lyles, and contact once, twice. Then Matthew Brower gets a mix. Henry Kaloff there too, all the while. Here comes the 969. He hits the brakes. Does he? We're going to find out. Let's take an instant replay, this time on board with a 969. Looking at the front end of the car, didn't really see the weight going right through to the bottom. And here's one additional look at the incident. I don't think he let off. I don't think he let off as soon as he got hit either. The 969 going right through the incident, and what we could have gotten away with maybe compounded by that. Oh, wow. What was that for this entire field there in the back half? We've had a troublesome night already, and 9 laps in, it's going to be added to more and more. Daniel Mosteller is your race leader as we're now about a third of the way in. Just like that, we are back under pacing. And since this might be the only opportunity we have, we'd like to thank iRacing Motorsport Simulations for providing high-quality sim racing on an online platform that is second to none. For over 15 years now, iRacing has been the premier racing simulator for all hardcore racing fans of any discipline. If you'd like to join stock car racing, well, there's an opportunity with so many leagues on FTN, but there's also open-wheel racing, formula-style racing, dirt, rally, endurance, what have you, classic racing up to the modern day. iRacing has you covered, and I'll tell you this much, if you want discounts of over 40% for memberships of 3 months or longer, check out iRacing.com and scan the QR code on your screen for the official eNASCAR newsletter, the #1 source for professional sim racing news inside of the eNASCAR sphere. It's 7:53 p.m. At 8 o'clock, live on FTN, the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series will go live again. Watch out, we're going to have an exciting race there. It's going to be at Texas Motor Speedway on FTN exclusively, so check it out, and we'll be right back after a brief message from our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Overhead from pit road, Cash Cope decides to stay out. Otherwise, rest of your field comes in and Daniel Mosteller will win from pit road. Cash Cope is in the #1 spot for the first time this season, and your #1 car is right there on the screen. Cope deciding to stay out a little bit longer, and as such, he is on the way. The reason being, he had the shortest pit stop of everyone, a 23-second stop in, relative to the rest of the field who have been in for at least 39 seconds, if not longer, because there's still about 5 drivers on pit road. You're looking back at guys like Vanderlee, Corey Lyles, Jacques Carter, Will Shack, currently speaking. And Joshua Sutherland just got off pit road, as it looks like he is now going to be back on the way, catching up to your lead lappers. Nobody off the lead lap right now of the 22 that registered for this race. Everyone started, everyone is still here, and we are set to go at it one more time. Of course, for our first restart of the day, 10 laps in, out of 30. Overall, not a bad first third for your leaders, however quiet they've been. The stories have, of course, been the back half of the field, and we've been watching those with, of course, very close eyes on everyone outside of the top 5, because it looks like the chaos has been everywhere. No matter what position you're running in, no matter who you're running with, chaos does not seem to avoid anyone for any reason. Alexander Balderas was one of the many involved in that most recent incident, also involving, not to mention, of course, Balderas. You also have Matthew Brower, who caught a piece, and he found himself right there with Cole Lyles, number 56, he's back on the way as well, and it looked like Jacques Carter caught a piece too, and he's now down on pit road. And it looks like for Carter, we're seeing if this is going to be a penalty. It looks like for the driver of the 969, we're not getting a word on a penalty. However, he is down and in. So now Jacques Carter on pit road. Looks like some right side damage to repair as well. And it's Cash Cope up in front as we are set to go 1 lap to green, this time by Cope, Mosteller, Thurston. Coming up to the choose rule tonight, it's going to be at the start-finish line. The apron is the bottom. Above the apron is the top. Let's see what Cash Kolb chooses here. Decisively down to the bottom, and he will start down low. One lap to green for Cash Kolb and company. Marcus Vanderlee looks like he just went one lap down, and you can see him. He's very far off of everyone, and I can't quite tell where he is, except for now. He's on the other side of turn one as he gets right out of the infield road course and gets back with the field. It looks like now he's on the way, and so is Jacques Carter. You can see there Carter getting on the move in 22nd now. After 3 minutes and 12 seconds on pit road, Carter has returned. Cash Kolb right now going to find himself as the leader for the first time at the Roval, let alone this season. And it is a tricky spot to be in. Not having any experience leading at road course here in IORA before, and up against some of the best in the business. Mosteller, Thurston, and Page. If there's any big three you want to avoid in a situation like this, I'd say those are the exact drivers you don't want to face for a win, because they all have a very fair shot at you passing you and making it look easy. So for Kolb, it's a big, big decision to stay up in front, and now we got to figure out what his key to success here is. Not an easy restart by any means, but doesn't mean it's impossible. As we're looking at Kolb down low, he's setting himself up with half a lap remaining before our restarts. Coming through turns 1 and 2, it is Cash Kolb, Daniel Mosteller, Thurston, and Page in the front two rows. But then Aiden Walker and Henry Kaloff were also very close. Right now, indeed, there's Kaloff in the 63 and Aaron Schugel in the number 91. These two drivers who are working with each other in this third and fourth row group, respectively. They've been racing around each other for a while here. There's some drivers who don't quite have the experience. However, for drivers who are veterans in this series, there's a chance to get the advantage. For now, of course, Google alongside Gavin Austin, who was making his first road course start of the campaign, didn't quite make it in last season either, so doesn't have the experience with these new packages at these road courses like his contemporaries, and he might be, of course, on the back foot here. Cash Kolb, of course, the biggest question mark of them all. Up in front and set to get at it this time by. It's the number one to the point. And will get moving this time by. Dropping down and in. The iRacing official pace car has made it through, and it's going to be the Fast Cash Racing Products number one, set to take the green. Balderas to pit road. Looks like an extra pit stop for him, but for everyone else, oh, Cash Kolb just took out Daniel Mosteller, and we are already in a parking lot. Green flags out. I don't expect it to be for long. We are under caution. Oh, and he almost got in another wreck. The Roval holds no prisoners. Caution is out, and your best driver all night long just got decked. Take a look back one more time. And you can see it's already crazy by that point. Let's take a look back one spot further. Here is the instant replay. Let's take a look overhead. It's Cash Kolb who spun up the tires and maybe made contact with Demos. Let's take a look. He's very high on the outside there, and they both come down and in for Demos. It was Thurston who made the contact, then got into Mosteller, then the wiggling began, and that's when it became a parking lot. Kolb involving Daniel Mosteller, then Gavin Austin there too, and the caution flies as such as Mosteller fades to the back immediately, and the 87 parked. Just like that, it's all said and done for Mosteller. His first run comes to a very, very unfortunate end. He's got 20 plus laps to get back up there, but not quite the way he wants to go about it, as he's now in 21st relative to the rest of the field, and Alexander Balderas may be making the smart move to come down to pit road there and avoid the chaos. Now James Thurston has the lead. As a result of that kerfuffle, it's the 96 up in front, and he got it there for Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. looks like in that incident, Thurston was the driver who laid the bumper on Cash Culp, and Culp not happy. Well, with that being said, I don't quite know whether or not it was Cash Culp's responsibility in regards to him getting going. There was contact with the 96 and the number 1, and Culp had the corner, but it also comes down to Culp having that very quick stop, and we didn't catch immediately exactly what he got through with tires or fuel. He did it differently, that's for sure. Tire screeching plays a big role in these restarts as well. So it's up to the admins to make the call for Thurston and Cash Culp. There was evidently contact with the quarter panel. We'll go back one more time if necessary, but it looked like clearly there was a little bit of bumping between these two, and that quarter panel is dangerous. We saw it with Alexander Balderas when he both gave the push and received it. Cannot go down there, especially in the corner, and that led us to trouble. Yellow flag is out again. Thurston, he's coming through, and it's going to be presumably one lap to green this time by, as we are under caution for the second time tonight. Back-to-back yellows here in Charlotte, and we will have a little bit more time as we are going to stay long yellow flag, 2 laps to green. We'll go back green at lap 15, and we'll have just about 21 laps remaining. Gavin Austin down to pit road. Jacques Carter, among others, making their way in. Yellow is out. Thurston, currently going to find yourself, of course, up in front of that 96 crew. And there's River Page second, Aiden Walker third. Henry Callum, he's up to 4th as we speak. And at number 63, he's up there just outside of the podium. Tell you this much, we haven't gotten a word from any drivers so far today. How about we dial up Henry Caloff and see what we can get? Looks like, unfortunately for him, not available for comments. So we'll look a little bit further down the table and try to find a driver we can speak to here. And love the excitement. You have our front runners currently not going to be with us in any of our communications channels. Alof, one of which for 213 Simware, so we'll try to dial him up at another time as we are now moving on. Lap and a half to go, and up in front it's going to be Jim Thurston. Thurston right now getting it up in front over River Page. Page, we haven't spoken of all so far tonight. However, one of the quickest in the business, and he is looking to go for it once more, looking for what could be a win to back up the performance at Kansas. Wasn't able to get it done in Charlotte at the oval configuration. However, clean he's been and however quick he's been at the intermediates didn't come together last week, and it was Jacob Wilkerson, the part-timer, who got it done. So maybe now it is River Page with the opportunity go for win number 2. Jim Thurston, he'd like a win himself, and now looking to get it back after, of course, coming up close, but nobody could beat Wilkerson last week. Tonight, the 96 with an opportunity perhaps at redemption, and the dark horse coming through the backstretch chicane with the lead over the entire field. Jacques Carter, 22nd and last, getting some more damage repair, and it looks like he's not going to take that fasty here, and like at least he has one. A lot of drivers have chosen to take it already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row from Gavin Austin up to Josh Sutherland. And then there's your 7th, which is going to be the driver right now of that number 68. And of course, for the rookie tonight, Thomas Coonan, not liking to use it early, but he had to. And your 9th driver who takes a fasty, he's already in trouble, is Cash Culp. So Culp is not going to be looking too good. I don't know what the plan is for the rest of his race here. He comes down and in. The suspension going to be torn up, and he's bent in on both wheels. I don't know about this number 1 team, if they can even keep on going here. It was puttering around. The motor might not be destroyed, but everything else looks to be. So he's not really going to have a chance to fight for the top 5, save for a miracle, as Jim Thurston opts to go down low, and River Page drives high. It's now Walker in the second row with Henry Caloff right behind, as we are set to go 1 lap to green for the second time tonight. As the field comes by this time through, Jacques Carter and Cash Pope going to be furthest away from the pack. Alexander Balderas, who missed that previous start, gaining 2 positions from going down a pit road, and it looks like now going to be in 20th. Still a ways to go for a driver who started up inside of the top 15. However, getting away from the caution, getting away from the trouble, and fixing himself back up might have been the better call to action here, and he's on a young set of Goodyear rubber, 2 laps relative to the rest of the field, who are on, mostly speaking, a 4-lap run. So a slight advantage, maybe enough to pull a spot or 2. Not going to be the biggest of deals, in all honesty, but it's good to have any advantage in such a tight pack. So, Jim Thurston up in front. He will be the man who leads us to the green. And River Page is right there with them. Aiden Walker still going to be inside the top 3 himself. Sean Rowe making his way into the top 5. And for Rowe, a great re-debut. His first race of the season here. And maybe looking for a few more with some success like this. He is up there and he is in 5th. You'll see Henry Kaloff, Aaron Schugel, Braxton Whitaker. And round out the top 10, you got Matthew Brower and Vincent Guecci. They're going to be 9th and 10th respectively. So Brower on his way back looking good as well, as he finds himself right now in 9th, and Thomas Goonan right there in the mix. It's a very tight field as we are set to go back for the green flag this time by. Through the backstretch chicane, Thurston with the advantage. We'll see what he can do. Going green at lap 15, it'll be 21 laps remain. We're getting closer and closer to that halfway point here, and even though Daniel Mosteller was your dominant driver, currently finds himself all the way back in 17th. We'll see what he can do. He'll need a few cautions, and we will see if he gets them. Yellow flag gonna fly for the final time on this lap, hopefully for the rest of the race, as the green flag will return yet again. Pace car dropping in, Thurston getting set to roll. Hopefully this time by, no contact in this restart as we come through the final chicane and get moving once again. Thurston is going to be up top, and it'll be down low for River Page. Green flag is out once again. 96 on the move, and we are back underway. River Page up to the lead very quickly there. He's going to slice and dice right under James Thurston, and as such, the number 96 sent all the way now into 2nd. We'll see what he can do as Devins Baker going to spin, and he is parked. Does he get back going? Not quite sure. Alexander Balderas also very slow. They're both stalled. And I don't know what they're doing here. They are staying on the track, and they are staying all the way in. Now it looks like the green flag is fully going to be committed, and Balderas is parked, and so is Devins Baker. Both drivers, as we speak, going to be slowed to the fullest. Alexander Balderas is still on the track, and Xander McKinney sees Cash Cope spin, and spinning goes Cash Cope down and into Jacques Carter. This time, the one going to go on his own volition, and he is going to be damaged yet again. Alexander Balderas is now going to be parked on racing circuit, or within the racing circuit at least, and there looks to be a serious problem for him here in the 95, perhaps stepping out of the sim, as you can see him still slowed down, luckily out of harm's way. Coming across the line this time through, it's going to be River Page as number 24 coming through with the race lead. Page ahead, 20 laps remaining. Now we're going to see River Page and James Thurston enter the 2nd lap of this restart up in front. It's currently going to be Aiden Walker now making the move for 2nd around Jim. Just like that, Thurston going to find himself in the bottom spot of the top 3. Maybe laying off right now. We saw how quick Thurston was, so it was quite the shock to see him dropping back so quickly. Maybe that's not really the pace he has, and instead looking to the future and trying to find the right opportunity to succeed for the rest of the race. Don't burn yourself out too early. It's a simple concept, but it's of course easier said than done, as now Matthew Brower fights side by side right there with Brandon Dugan. Up to the wall, Brower goes down to the inside. It's going to be Dugan staying, and it's going to be an onslaught of drivers. Take a look behind Brandon Dugan, and it'll show you how close they really are. And the rookie goes around to the number 68. We got trouble once again. Oh, it's going to be the number 68 machine. That time by Thomas Coonan catches a piece, and he's going to get shuffled out big as the front runners get away. Thomas Coonan goes spinning. No yellow flag. Here's an instant replay as it looks like a shuffle right into the backstretch chicane. Just about the worst place you can go around, and it will happen. You see the collection there, multiple drivers, Shaq involved with Marcus Vanderlei, and the yellow flag is not going to fly. A multi-car incident, but it looks like the front runners do indeed get away just well enough. We'll look back up ahead. And trouble brewing as we once again return to live action. River Page, 19 laps to go, finds himself advantageous here and hoping to still pull away more on this gap. And with a ways to go, already seeing a little bit more of that aggression coming back into play. One driver going to be in a little bit of trouble. That's Will Shack. He gets pushed all the way out to the outskirts. He's in 19th now, and as such, it's now going to be Shack back on the way, but of course fading back big time. Alexander Balderas, one lap down, is also racing again, so it looks like he got everything settled up and settled out as he returns and gets right by another spinner. Thomas Coonan again. No, it's Xander McKinney, and the 40 goes around this time. No contact with anyone else, but for McKinney, another set of bad news as the 40 now returns to the track, hoping to get that pace back in it, but it looks like another instance where drivers losing control later and later into this event. We're coming across to the halfway point this time by, and it's going to be River Page 18 laps in with 18 laps to go, looking to lead us into the rest of the night. Aiden Walker making gains right on board now with the 93. He is up into second. Coming through the start-finish line, it looks like now for Aiden Walker, the gap is 4 flat tenths. And you saw him there finessing the wheel, working the pedals just right. And it looks like now the perfect combination leading to some early success in this stint. 9 laps into the tire run, but only about 5 laps in when it comes to the driving itself. And so far, it's been a successful run for the 93, looking to go one spot higher and take the victory for the first time for Aiden Walker in several seasons. We saw him, of course, excelling in Season 3, where there was a heavy focus on the road courses and the IORA World Tour, which was a part of the championship race in which Chase Schaefer was the overall champion. One particular highlight for Aiden Walker eventually came down to being the Red Bull Ring. He had a very close battle with Chase Schaefer through it all and eventually found himself as a runner-up man in the final laps. Schaefer got away. The rest of the field went into turmoil, but Walker ran a great night there, of course, pushing himself to his limit, and now it looks like he's once again showing that road course racing prowess. Very few drivers really have it. You got it or you don't, and for a lot of drivers, they just don't have it, and it's very hard to attain the skill if you don't have it from the jump. Now, going to be going all the way deep. Gavin Austin gets right by Joshua Sutherland, and you can see now Sutherland going to be put into 11th as Xander McKinney is still slow and on his own. Lost 4 seconds on average relative to his normal pace, and now he's going to find himself drifting once again. A lockup, and McKinney, it looks like now, frying the tires. You can see the rear sides are going to be absolutely destroyed, and I don't think he can do much else besides go down a pit road. He's on a 13-lap-old stint, the longest of anyone else in the field, and given the stops and goes and incidents he's had, it's not going to get any better as the race progresses here, so bad news for McKinney. We'll see if he can fix himself up as the night goes on. Corey Lyles 4/10 back right now on Joshua Sutherland, and Daniel Mosteller now side by side with Sean Rowe. This is for 4th. Now down to the inside. It looks like Rowe going to keep him honest. They're going to come through 2 by 2. Now into the oval again. And Emo sees Rowe right up to the wall. It's going to be inch to inch. The 87 down to the bottom. Gets the run. Daniel Mosteller is up to 4th. 21st on track. And doing these passes, of course, all under green, being sent back after an incident. Not good news for him. And Cash Copeland ended up hooking Daniel Mosteller up into the wall. And that gave way, of course, to a long stretch of yellow flag laps. And now that we're back on the way, 20 laps in, the home stretch is approaching. River Page, with 15 laps to go, now has the lead over Aiden Walker and James Thurston. Thurston going to find himself now in 3rd, 1 second back. An opportunity to pounce if he chooses, but so far he's decided to lie back and let the chips fall where they may. Brandon Dugan going to come across the line now in 9th. There's one driver in trouble again, Xander McKinney. I'll take a look at the right sides here for McKinney. He is just about fully destroyed on the right end, and I don't think there's much else he can do. Pit road seems inevitable, but he's still not gone down and in. The 40 machine is Xander McKinney, comes down the back straightaway one more time here, and it looks like he's going to go gain a much more delicate run through. His fastest lap score tonight is a 129.964, which would be several seconds slower than anyone else. I don't think that's necessarily the case. He definitely ran quicker laps that were not validated, but right now, he's clearly the slowest on track, and he'll have to come down and in with 21 laps on the board. For those of you watching live on FTN, always with 22 laps to go, we typically crank it up. However, 22 laps in tonight, we are going to get things going and crank it up live on FTN with our camera partners at TrackCams22.com. For high quality cameras on the iRacing platform, check out TrackCams22 for over 100 track and car combinations featuring the best broadcasting cameras. Whatever you need them for, we got you covered at TrackCams22.com or Facebook.com/TrackCams. Let's crank it up with 22 laps in the books, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. 10 laps remain. River Page finds himself up in front as we left it off. However, Aiden Walker, he is close, and he's been within 1/10 of a second as of recent laps. However, right now doesn't seem to be as near. It has been an up and down, back and forth game between our two aces tonight, and a 93 has gotten closer and closer. One driver who's even faster than both of them, Daniel Mosteller, he's now about a second a lap faster than those who are ahead of him, and with 10 laps to go, I think Demos might still have a chance at the race win. He is absolutely booking through each and every corner, lap after lap. It looks like, unlike the drivers ahead of him, tire wear not going to affect him as much. That time by, he ran a 122.543. Page ran a 123.453. It's evident now that it is Daniel Mosteller quicker than the drivers ahead of him, and it looks like he's been able to gain second after second, slowly but surely, and he might be a big playing factor in the lead battle for the laps here to come. As he comes into the oval section, the drivers who are ahead of him leave, and it looks like now it's a gap of about 4.2 seconds, so he's made up a few tenths coming through this time by. It looks like now Page going to go down and in, nearly clipping the grass there. So is Aiden Walker. And now, at the stripe again, it's going to be Page, Walker, Thurston with 9 laps remaining. You see now, as they come across, it's going to be River Page with Aiden Walker first and second by 1/4 of a second here. There's Walker trying to slice low. He looks to the bottom. Now going to find himself up top. Still can't find the room to really break in and break through. 9 laps remaining, and it looks like you can see there Daniel Mosteller in the same frame. That time by 122.539. Oh, he is gaining, and it is obvious. I think Demos now just has to hone in what he's got and keep on going. He's broken away from the rest of the field. Tonight has not been easy by any means. However, it's been persistent going in each and every lap. With 9 remaining here, you gotta wonder, maybe now Demos has the opportunity to keep on going into the draft of James Thurston. It's a few seconds right now, but the package is slightly different from the ovals, in which it's sort of unrestricted. Be here, Thurston gonna be getting into the power quickly, and these drivers turn the wheel much harder as, whoa, Aiden Walker's in big trouble. You see him there sliding out of control, and he's gonna send James Thurston right back as well. Page gets a big break, and we'll see if it's big enough. Aiden Walker in the grass, now trying to send it even deeper on a Page again, and he balances out these losses, but that looked like a several tenth deficit. Sean Rowe coming through this time by, and he's facing Daniel Mosteller, but no use, as Demos now has 3 seconds to work with here. And Thurston, Walker, stay tight. Look off the back bumper of Jim Thurston. You'll see how Demos is coming. Back mirror. It's a little less evident right now as they go through the banked corners, but for Jim Thurston, he sees Daniel Mosteller. He is there, and he is getting larger and larger. The 87 right now seems to be a little bit more of a larger-than-life character, given he's gone from the back of the field on up without assistance. 18 laps on this stint, and he has clawed through everyone on a journey back for redemption. Now to the drivers who passed him first. Thurston, Walker, Page, the big 3. And right now, Walker now trying to knock on the door of Page once again. You can see James Thurston going back a little bit more of a lie-back approach. He's going to try to have Demos do a lot more of the work for him here. He thinks maybe that it's going to be the 87 who cuts through and gets them all out of the way. Right now, Walker and Page are really giving it their all for good reason. But it looks like Walker's still getting that door shut on him, slammed repeatedly. Again and again and again, and he tries to put the door just a little bit closer, getting the bumper first, but nothing is going to move Page as they come in to the final portion of the infield road course once again. Going to make it past the Legend Circuit and now get onto the corners. Of course, turns 1 and 2 of the Charlotte Oval. Demos 1.7 seconds behind. That time through, he ran a 122.7. is still about 0.7 of a second quicker, so as all equals out, Demos is now getting right there, and he's got little to worry about in regards to catching. The most important factor is making the pass. 7 laps to remain, and you'll see Page there with Aiden Walker and Jim Thurston, the big 3. Now, they've got a 4th challenger approaching, and this podium might get shaken up in due time. One driver going to lose a lot of time. That's Jacques Carter to Alexander Balderas. Balderas is a lapper tonight. It looks like he will be finishing 16th the way things are looking. However, his race is not done in the case of a caution. We've seen 2 tonight. Hey, we don't get another one. Now they come across for 6 laps remaining, and it's going to be 6 in the mix with the 96 of James Thurston there just behind Aiden Walker, trying to put a bumper as River Page is still defended upon the 93. It's now Walker trying to work with James Thurston and keep that 96 right behind him. So far, success in keeping himself in second, but Aiden Walker has to wonder, what is River Page going to do here, seeing a new threat for the race lead? There's Mosteller, admittedly running slightly slower laps in this dirty air. He is still in the 122 bracket, and the driver ahead of him might be coming into the 124 bracket. So now Page is going to have to try to find the move that will keep everyone behind him as his immediate defense, because if Demos gets through one, then he'll get through the next and maybe make it up to the core being River Page. So, gotta wonder, what's it gonna take here from Daniel Mosteller's perspective? He hops over the curbs, and he's right there. It's about a bumper between he and Thurston right there through the chicane, and it's about 2-3 car lengths, expanding now to like 5 or 6 as they come through 3 and 4, but the gap has shrunk to its all-time low in this stint, and they're coming up on a driver in trouble, and Cash Cope coming now into the Tums Heartburn turn, and see there, Cash Cope very slow as the leaders are coming through at blistering pace. Aiden Walker's in trouble, and he's gonna park it immediately. Oh, now it's gonna be Daniel Mosteller going for James Thurston. Thurston's gonna be losing a spot, and Demos is up to second, but Walker's night is done. Here's an instant replay, and you'll see just what happened as we focused on the lapper. The 93 Walker got in the wall, nobody else involved, and that will end his night as Demos gets away. Watch him slide under into turn 1 in the Tums Heartburn turn. See there, the 87 just got through. Demos is in second with 5 laps remaining, back up in front, and you're going to see the leaders again as we come right into turns 1 and 2. Mosteller 0.6 back, 5 to go. It's realistic now, but it's all up to River Page to defend upon the 87, looking for his 2nd win of the season. So now it's going to be Page and Manuel Mosteller, the top of the board, respectively speaking. First right now has been River Page's possession for the entirety of this stint, and he's held off the drivers behind him quite well to this point. But Daniel Mosteller looks to be a little bit different compared to the rest of the competition, and the reason being, simply looks to be quicker right now given his strategy. He's on a 19-lap run, decided to go to the back of the field after one of those cautions that we saw back-to-back, and it's a very, very minor advantage at first that gets going and brings us here to this point. This point in time, of course, going to involve not only Mosteller, but the drivers around him. You see River Page there still holding his own, but I don't think it's going to be for long if Demos can perhaps make it by in the oval section. That's going to be all the difference. Now, the 87 still remains just about a 10.5 back, and Thurston remains there too. So if the 96 sees trouble, he'll be waiting in the wings here, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's got the draft, he goes through the corners, he's relatively quick, relatively speaking anyhow, compared to the rest of the field. He is still lightning quick, but Daniel Mosteller is still running 123s, and his contemporaries, they are absolutely working each other over. They're already in the 124s. Demos now getting slowed down. He'll look down to the bottom side on the apron. Oh, and the 87 goes high. He gets shot right up the track. Couldn't get by River Page there. And now it's going to be another look into the chicane. Oh, and there's going to be smoke. The reason being looks to be Cash Cope once again. And he gets by right behind those who lead the way. 3 laps to go, this time by, and just like that, Mosteller with Page Still 1 and 2 glued to each other, and Jim Thurston remains in the mix himself. Looking to slip right up the track and slide right through. River Page has not let the door open in the slightest and keeping it as tight as ever. Demos looks low, and I don't think there's much Page can do now. They'll both dive deep, and it's going to be a drive high for Page, a little bit higher for Mosteller, as James Thurston now looking at the opportunity and seeing there might be room for error as Page now sees contact once, twice. There won't be a third time as they come into 1 and 2, and now it's going to be no holds barred as the 87 is due to be relentless. He'll look a little bit higher. He's shaking Page all over. Now Demos out of the apron. He still gets blocked. Now it's going to be braking, and Page is going to have to let off by force. River's going to get sent into the barrier. There goes James Thurston. Thurston to the lead. The 96 up in front. Page is sent in, and both drivers going to the extreme, give it to Thurston with 2 full laps remaining. Thurston was not quick compared to the Mosteller previously. If Demos pulls it together, he's got 15 tenths to make up. He just has to do what he did before, if it's still possible, to make the time and go for the win. River Page is going to be far out of this one now. He was running up there in front previously speaking. However, if we look back one more time to that specific incident, you'll see it came down to relentless driving, and both drivers did not want to give. But at that point, someone has to. Demos look low, and it looks like he just shot Page in. They come through, they barrel into each other, and that is the incident at hand. Just came down to ruthless driving and nobody giving in, and that giving and taking lost in the moment. Daniel Mosteller now trying to find himself again, 6.5 tenths back, and the 87, he finds himself now covering half the distance he lost. He still has a lap and a half to cover the rest of it. You can't rest easy if you're Jim Thurston here. Not in the slightest. The 96 machine up in front, but that lead is minute. Right now, I don't know what else he can do, save for defending, and it's a 0.5 of a second gap, so there's little to defend right now, but there are blockades coming in the form of Vincent Guecci and Jacques Carter. That's going to change the frame as well. Lappers ahead of your top 2 drivers with 1 lap to go. Smoke ahead, it's Vincent Guecci, and Guecci spins. White flags out. This race will be official. Now trouble with the lappers as Jacques Carter's up next. Demos will ride on board with him here. Look exactly what he's doing, going absolutely to the inch of the wall every time and making up what he can. Jacques Carter going to dive out the way. Balderas up next. They're due to catch up to the 95 with the way they're racing, and Thurston now has 4 tenths of buffer, the lowest he's had all throughout this 2-lap stint. Now Thurston going to try to lead Demos out of the road course section and back in oval 1 and 2. If he keeps the advantage into this section, he should be good to go, and he will get the jump. However, Mosteller going to be right there on the backside, and you look again, now getting the speed, barreling in to the exit of turn 2. Demos' final opportunity is here now, and will he go for it? He's going to lay off instead. Going to try to get a nice entry in as Thurston blows a chicane. Jim Thurston in the wall. Daniel Mosteller in the lead. 2 turns to go. Thurston is now going to lose that lead on his own doing, and Mosteller from the back of the field, spun from the lead, makes the strategy work, gets through his challengers, and comes across the checkered flag. Demos wins the Concord Grand Prix. Mosteller gets it done, holds the checkered flag, and from bottom to top, last to first, Demos, your pole sitter, who was sent through incident after incident, gets it done and wins in the Roval. From Daniel Mosteller, take a look at your race results here as we get to our post-race coverage. It's going to be Jim Thurston in second, River Page in third, and Sean Rowe them in fourth. Henry Kaloff is fifth with Aaron Schugel sixth and Gavin Austin in the seventh spot. Corey Lyles is then eighth, and it'll be Joshua Sutherland, the rookie, in ninth, as Braxton Whitaker finishes then in position number 10. 11th spot is then and there going to be Brandon Dugan, and it's going to be Jacques Carter 12th, Vincent Guecci in 13th, and Cash Cope 14th, Balderas 15th, and Aiden Walker 16th, with Thomas Kuhn in 17th, Sandra McKinney 18th, and Will Shack in 19th. Marcus Vanderlei rounds out in the top 20, and then from there, Matthew Brower 21st, and Devins Baker 23rd. How about that number 87 tonight? Thurston almost had it made, and instead of diving deep, which I'm sure Thurston expected, Mosteller played it calm and collected. Slowly threw himself into the perfect situation to go through into the chicane, and instead of touching Thurston, Thurston made the mistake, and now Demos is making it down to the start-finish line, set to celebrate as Mosteller gets it done from the Roval. Second win of the season, and another last lap turn of events gives the 87 the checkered flag. Returning to pit road after a long day in the cockpit, Demos gets it done, and we're going to get a word from your race-winning driver in just a moment. What a race that was for Daniel Mosteller. It looks like he's still celebrating just a little bit more and spinning it back in motion. Daniel Mosteller, the man of the hour tonight, gets it done. And how about we get a word with the driver who pulls through for the race win. Finishing tonight, of course, top of the board, but it was by no means an easy race to win. So we'll, of course, get some of the feedback that we desperately need for a driver who went from all the way down to the tail end of the field, all the way up to the front. Mosteller made it work and did everything necessary, as we're going to bring in your number 87 right now. Daniel Mosteller, from top to bottom, wrecks and chaos, in a last lap, excitement in between. You win today, your second of the season, and your first at the Charlotte Roval. How you feeling?
I was really bad. When I got wrecked on that restart, I had it in the bag, and someone stayed out, got me in their mess. And, I don't know how I pulled it off. That was probably the most craziest comeback ever that I've ever had, and I think probably ever in this league. I think I was like 20th on the last restart, and slowly but surely I made my way back up through the field, and eventually I was up there with River, Thurston, and Walker there. And, River and I got together. I don't really know what happened. He was blocking me, and I don't really know what happened there, but, And the Thurston got by with 2 to go, and I was catching him again. I mean, overall, I was just really fast, but I thought it was over there, and then he blew the backstretch chicane on the last lap there, and gave me the win there.
And it came down to you, Thurston, and River Page. We noted you had a 3-lap tire advantage, which does not sound like much, but tonight that played in as all the difference. So what was it like knowing you starting at the back with the tire advantage and having to trust yourself to carry through with so much speed as you did to eventually grab the win?
Yeah, the advantage definitely helped, but overall I was easily the fastest car, and I think if we didn't get that first yellow, I think I easily would have won the race, but it was a little harder, and as I said, I got wrecked on that restart, made it even harder, but just persevered, kept my head cool, and was able to capitalize when Thurston made a mistake there.
And perseverance makes all the difference tonight here for the checkered flag. The points race is especially tight, and we're moving on now to another circuit much different in terms of its composition, the Roval, unlike any other. But we're going back to the intermediates up next with Chicagoland. So, a little bit more like the normal, and we've seen you successful there as well. You've already got 2 wins in the books, and you're looking for your 3rd championship. What is it going to take to keep the successes rolling and maybe eye a hat trick of victories?
I've kind of struggled on the intermediates. Kansas, I should have finished probably second, but I had a pit road speeding penalty. Atlanta, I was just mediocre and kind of got caught up in other people's messes. But slowly but surely, I've been getting the momentum back, and hopefully, I can have a bit better of a run on an intermediate. As I said, I haven't finished on the podium in one since my victory at Phoenix, if you even call that an intermediate, an actual oval. So I just need to just keep my head cool. Kind of just I don't really know what I got to do. River, Thurston, they're all super fast. It's kind of hard to keep up. So I'll just have to capitalize on their mistakes, just like I did today.
Capitalizing is key. Daniel Mosteller, 10 laps led, and you led the one that matters at the end of the day. Any final shout-outs you'd like to give?
Thank you for broadcasting, Mason for off-tracking. Walker, Thurston, River, it was an amazing battle with them to come back from that far back, and it was really exciting, but got the win. So we'll celebrate that and carry on the momentum the next week.
Daniel Mosteller collecting the checkered flag in the Concord Grand Prix. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mosteller on the move, just about a second behind when all was said and done. Jim Thurston, oh so close tonight, and we're going to get a word from the driver in that number 96 tonight. Not, of course, the finish he'd like to have. However, it was still a very impressive performance, all things considered, and we're going to speak to Thurston right now. 96 machine, second on the day, and a very close finish between you and Daniel Mosteller. Last lap made all the difference. How are you feeling after tonight's event?
Yeah, I thought I did everything right there, and yeah, did everything right except for the last 2 corners. I could be really upset about it, but we did finish second. It was a good race, another good finish. So yeah, we're just gonna take it, and honestly, yeah, just wish we could have won that, but second isn't bad for the points.
Good points night for the 96 crew once again tonight, shifted by cautions. Now, we saw the incident, of course, involving Cash Colt, Daniel Mosteller, among others, so it was tricky to really categorize where the pace was early, but you kept up and kept them honest. Aiden Walker in the mix as well, not to mention, of course, River Page. How was it like dealing with the long run after what was early struggling to get us going again?
Yeah, I needed to keep the lead on that last restart. Losing the lead there didn't help. Because I started to save tires, and I think just being behind those cars didn't help me save it all. I mean, there isn't much dirtier with these cars, but I think that what they have really hurts you at slow speeds. And I didn't save my tires any better than Demos did, and it showed there at the finish. And I tried pushing a little bit to try to pass them, and by the time I did that, Walker slipped up and hit the wall, and then threw me way off my rhythm. And lost another spot to Demos. And then, I knew that him and River were going to race it out really, really hard, and they did. And I got the lead. And then, I don't know, Demos was probably still going to get me or get to me before we got to the line. But I just wish that it would have been a little closer.
All things considered, a very close fight, and even though it wasn't quite the win, still a podium with big points. Chicagoland's up next, another intermediate, much like last week at Charlotte, and we've seen you quick there before. Maybe an opportunity to return one step higher?
Yeah, Chicagoland's a pretty good track for me. We're just going to bring the best car we can here at Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports and see how we can pull one out there.
Looking to go to the top step next week in Chicago. Jim Thurston, second on the day here, a podium finish with 6 laps led. Any final thoughts after that one?
I think the car was better than the driver that race, but I mean, I wasn't that bad. Just wish I was quicker.
Well, with that being said, Thurston finishing second here in the Roval. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thurston going to get on the move, and our final driver in the top three, it is River Page. Tonight, I tell you this much, I don't know how River Page is going to feel given the circumstances. It was a close call, but for him, the number 24 team, really little they could do at the very end with all the back and forth blocking and passing. At a night, it's still a podium finish with 18 laps led. River Page, podium here in the Concord Grand Prix. It was an electric race, I'll tell you this much, and unfortunately for this team, maybe on the bottom side of that.
Man, we put on a good show for the fans. I was not gonna beat Demos, no way in hell. So, I just devoted to defending as hard as I possibly could. And so if that meant that he was gonna go into the apron and then stay on the inside, I was gonna try and block him. Because if he got around me, I really just had no shot to beat him. So, I did all I could. It was I really don't like this track very much with this car. Mostly just because it takes a lot of skill, and I'm not that good at saving tires, so I struggled at the end. I knew that Demos was gonna, end up behind me. I probably think I would have been able to hold him off at least until the last lap, or maybe win if Walker didn't do what he did. Because when he did that, it just let Demos by him and Thurston super quick. So I don't know. I think that was definitely my fault. Demos was gonna go for it. He should have done nothing less. He got wrecked on that restart. He drove all the way back up to the field. So I mean, he definitely deserved the win. It's just I was gonna defend him real hard, and I spun myself. I'm not mad or anything though. I still finished third. It was a fun finish. I wish I could have gotten some more buffer so that I could have been in the lead maybe until the last lap. But it was still fun. I'm still happy with third.
And we saw how hard Demos would charge him, but for the majority of this race, the story was you, Aiden Walker, Jim Thurston. And if Walker went away earlier or later, that would have changed things even more because he ended up going at us and unfortunately ruining his race as a result. But he was a big piece of the buffer. You think there would have been the difference if he stayed with you guys?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, honestly. I didn't see he hit the wall and then he was like, yeah, I'm leaving, and he left. I don't know what happened. I didn't think it was that bad. But I guess he was just going to only stay in the race if he had a shot at the win. I just, like I said, I would have had much more of a buffer. Demos would have had to get by those two before he got to me. I think he still would have got by me, but, I wish I had more time.
That being said, just not enough time on the table and a close call with the finish and all that defense. Now, we don't see it all too much at the ovals, but we're going back to the mile and a halves in Joliet next week. What's it going to take to maybe succeed yet again in Chicago?
I don't know, honestly. I think it's just like this track. You just have to really hard save your tires. I think I'm pretty good at Chicagoland. I think I won my highest like SOF race there, so I think it'll be fun. I'm pretty good at Chicagoland. I think I've been pretty strong at the ovals aside from Charlotte this year, so we'll just have to see. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm not sure. I think there's like 5 more races left until the chase, so I just have to finish solid for the next couple races, and then I think we get a points reset, and I get some extra points for being a winner. I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna try to have some fun here. Hopefully, we get some get a good fast power smash Affinity Speed Motorsports race car from our boys back at the shop, and we can have a chance to go for another win. I think if it's anything like Kansas, I'll be in good shape.
Keeping the championship fight tonight, River Page finishes third on the day. You have any final shout-outs you'd like to make?
Yeah, just thanks to FTN and Hager Electrical and Power Smash Affinity Speed Motorsports and Flopper Racing and Demos and Jim and Walker for making that race entertaining. That car was pretty annoying to drive, so the fact that we got that finish out of it was good. And shout out to Jim for getting to shift to second on the last lap right there. Just made it a good finish. It's fun.
And a fantastic performance all around from our top 3 tonight. You get it done in third, River Page. We thank you for your time.
Thank you, buddy.
And with Page on the move, ending our top 3 interviews for tonight's event, it's River Page third, Jim Thurston second, and Daniel Mosteller who gets it done and wins here in the Concord Grand Prix. How about the 87 tonight? One of those performances he'll never forget, and a 2-time champion is looking for 3, so stay with us all season on FTN. We are just getting started with the championship chase here in IORA. Tell you this much, we'll be live in about a half hour's time with the Highline Racing League. We are going to be heading next to Chicagoland there, and we'll be heading next to Chicagoland next week in the IORA Cup Series as well. You've been watching the IORA Cup Series and an exclusive presentation of the Concord Grand Prix as we keep the action going in Season 5, Race 7 of the Season 5 campaign. I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing all of tonight's events, so if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated, and we'll be back with the Highline Racing League in just a few minutes. Thank you all for watching here on the IORA Cup Series, and we hope you have a fantastic night.